New year, new commitment. LSU stays red hot on the recruiting trail. This time they land the '1 running back in the 2025 class. That's right. Moments ago, Harlem Barry announced his commitment to the Tigers. Barry's a 5-star. He goes 5'11", 177 pounds. He's also the #1 ranked player in the state of Louisiana. So big news. We're going to break it all down with the great Shea Dixon here in a second. But first, LSU fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. It's an exciting time for LSU recruiting. Get on board with us. Hit subscribe. All right, let's bring on Shea Dixon from the Bengal Tiger. And Shea, I said it. This is a big one. But LSU, they win it. LSU battles UF, Texas for Barry. How were they able to win out?
I think you point and start with Frank Wilson, who 10 years ago to the day, we were in your hometown in St. Pete at the Trop when Leonard Fournette, who Frank Wilson recruited to LSU, announced his commitment. Another New Orleans guy, another 5-star, another #1 running back in the country. And now a decade later, Harlem Barry at the same game becomes the first underclassman to ever announce at the game, reveals that he has picked LSU. And Josh, this is a huge, huge win for the LSU program because it's always important to keep Louisiana's best players at home. He is ranked by On3 as the #1 player in Louisiana. Then you look at the On3 national rankings. He's the #1 running back in the country. He's comped to players like Jamal Charles. He is an absolute blast to watch. He glides all over the field. And he's a guy that, much like a Leonard Fournette, will come in and make an immediate impact in LSU's program that doesn't get any bigger than this when you're talking running back recruiting. And how did it happen? I think you just circle at the start. Frank Wilson, the running backs coach, the head recruiter, and certainly a guy who knows New Orleans like the back of his hand. So a lot of other teams tried here. He went on a lot of other visits, but at the end of the day, when the dust settled, everyone said, hey, this is going to point in LSU's direction. And here we are. LSU adds a big-time commitment from a 5-star.
Yeah, and you said instant impact. So does that mean he'll be able to participate in spring? And if so, if he's an early enrollee, I mean, hey, LSU fans can expect Barry to be enrolling this time next year.
That'll be the goal. And then as most fans know, whether you're an LSU fan or a fan of another team, in college, running back is one position that you can play early. LSU fans saw it this year with Caleb Jackson, who made a big impact for him. So I think when you look towards the future, guys like Caleb Jackson will be on roster. Then you bring in a Caden Durham. Now you've got Harlem Barry on board. It doesn't get much better than that. You've got James Simon, another top 10 running back here in the state that LSU leads for on the On3 RPM. It could be a banner year for running back recruiting with LSU. And to follow that up after Caden Durham is exactly what LSU fans hoped for whenever Frank Wilson came back and took this job again.
It could be a banner year for LSU recruiting across the board because I'm seeing a trend here. They've already landed the #1 wide receiver in DeCorian Moore. Now they land the #1 running back in Harlem Barry. And now we have the #1 QB, Bryce Underwood, deciding in just a few days, is this trend of stacking #1s at their position going to continue, Shea?
Yeah, I mean, we said that Moore was about as big as it gets, and then you get Harlem Barry, and for an LSU team that needs to lock down Louisiana, that's as big as it gets, but it might not get any bigger than the #1 overall prospect in the country, Bryce Underwood. And for LSU to go all the way to Michigan, they don't recruit a ton of Michigan kids, but to go all the way to Michigan and get a quarterback like Bryce Underwood would be monumental. So the On3 RPM picks, led by you, have started with Bryce Underwood to LSU. It doesn't appear that Michigan is in the spot that they once were, maybe over the summer. That late visit to Bama was the one everyone was watching. Where would he visit before the dead period? They got him into Tuscaloosa, but you still look, they've got Julian Sand coming to campus, is already on campus, practicing even before the bowl prep. I think this one still points towards LSU's direction. And Josh, maybe the next time I'm on here with you talking, if Underwood commits to LSU, it would certainly have them sitting in the #1 spot for the top class in the On3 industry team football recruiting rankings. And that's what Brian Kelly and this staff need, because Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, those teams are the teams that often sit at the top, right? You have to crack the top 3 to beat those squads out. I still think this one is going in the direction that you had on your On3 RPM pick with Bryce Underwood to LSU.
And I think that that will really start the dominoes for the Tigers, because the next time we talk, Josh, Underwood could be on board with LSU. That would put them very early on, a year out from the early signing period, as the number one class in the country. And that would mean, hey, you've now joined the ranks of Bama, Georgia, Ohio State. Those are the teams that you want to be recruiting like and matching their level of, hey, look, we're landing 5 stars. We're going out there and getting the best players. LSU has finished with the top 5 class 2 years in a row on the on-through rankings during the first 2 years of the Brian Kelly era. This would be the first time they've touched number one, though. Do they hold on to it? We would see. But I am so confident that going into this final stretch here before December 6th, that when he announces that Bryce Underwood and LSU, or LSU is the team that is out front for Bryce Underwood. And that would be, again, so big for kind of just kick-starting momentum into the offseason after you've gone back-to-back 10-win seasons. Now you've got an expanded playoffs. 10-2 in the SEC could get you into those playoffs. If you're stacking up recruiting like this, it makes the future pretty bright.
Yeah. Hey, look, you don't have to hype me up about Bryce Underwood. I was the first one to put my pick in. So I've been a believer of LSU, and I think that they will land him. But hey, today, let's let LSU fans enjoy this one. They just landed 5-star running back Harlem Barry, 5'11", 177 pounds, number 1 ranked player in the state. It's huge. Shea, Dixon, thanks for dropping by the Inside Scoop today and talking about this massive commitment.
Thanks for having me on, Josh.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that content, be sure to subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We have a new page dedicated only to recruiting. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now.